So as you all know that manual testing is a complete process oriented. We should know the process which we are following. So did I explain anything, any concept yesterday? Nothing, right? So this is going to be the
No,
official first session, right?
no, nothing.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
So in the real world, whenever you are working on our projects in a manual testing, people will be using certain terminologies. So it's a mandatory for us, okay, it's mandatory for us to learn and understand the concept whatever we have in a manual testing. The reason is we have a very less practical implementation in our manual testing. Okay, very few practical implementations. Okay, so we have in a manual testing, so in which the first thing that we need to know is a software application. So what is a software application? We should know. The reason is in the real world, if you go on, if you attend an interview, the people will ask you a software application and a definition of a software application. Those things people will ask you. That's the reason we should know all the definitions. So what is a software application? Set of computer programs and minimum data to run those programs. We call it as a software application. So it means you need to write down a programs in the backend. Those programs will be performing certain operations. So for that particular reason, we call it as a software application. What is an example for this software application? WhatsApp Messenger, which we are using. So we are using a WhatsApp Messenger, right? Itself is a software application. Why are we calling it as a software application? They have written some logics in a backend, and if you perform certain operations on that, based on your input, respective actions will be performed on a WhatsApp. A best example is if you click on a chat icon on your WhatsApp, the chat history will be populated. If you click on a status icon, the status stuff will be displayed. If you click on a call icon, the call stuff related will be displayed. Settings related things will be displayed. So it means based on our actions, okay, based on our actions, respective stuff will be displayed, which we call it as a software application. To decide or to view this software application for us in the back end, developers will write down a code, and that's the reason you will be visible or you will be seeing this particular software application. Set of computer programs written, and to work on you need to pass a minimum data. So for this WhatsApp Messenger, your selection is the minimum data, right? For suppose if at all you want to send it on a group that I have created, you just need to type in that message, right? That's what the minimum data you are passing, which we are calling it as a software application, guys. Is this clear for you all? What is a software application, or any questions for me on this? Satyender, Raj, and Satyender, Raj, and Deepa. Is it clear for you all, or any
yeah, we are
question?
clear.
Yes, yeah, clear.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, clear.
And then next thing is once we are done with this software application, generally the software application is a simple word, but internally it has some other meanings inside that, some other definitions inside that. What exactly the meaning is? The software application was broadly categorized into product and a project. What does it mean? What is a product and what is a project? What is the difference between these two? What we call it as a product and what we call it as a project, right? We should know basically. So a product means if a software application is designed for multiple customers. Okay, if this application is designed for multiple customers, we call it as a product. Whereas if a software application is designed for few customers, very few, limited set of audience. We call it as a project. See, the thing is, both are of a software applications itself. Whether it is a project or it is a product, you need to write down a code and a backend itself. But the thing is, the number of audience will vary. What is an example for that? See, guys, assume that we are working for IBM. Okay, so IBM will have an internal portal to apply leaves. Okay, apply leaves. Who can access this portal, guys? People who are working for IBM can only access this particular portal. See here, assume that Surendra is working for TCS. Will he able to access the portal created for IBM? Is it possible for Surendra to access the IBM portal? No, right?
No.
Or a simple example, guys. So assume that we have a two blocks. Block A. So this is a real building. Basically, consider that block A and a block B. In a block A, we have a TCS office, and in a block B, we have an IBM office. Okay. So assume that I'm working for Surendra, working for TCS, and Satyendra working for IBM. Okay, Sachendra working for IBM and Surendra working for TCS. So, will it be possible for Surendra to enter into Block B with his TCS ID card? Or will it be possible for Satyendra to enter TCS campus with his IBM card? No, right? This
No.
block A is precisely designed for TCS folks. So whoever are having a TCS ID cards itself, they can attend it. Else they can't attend that premises basically. The same with a block B also. This block B is precisely designed only for IBM employees. But the thing is, both the block A and the block B are for IT employees. See here, block A and a block B are IT employees. People who are working for TCS, we call it as an IT employees. People who are working for IBM, even we call them as an IT employees itself. But the only difference is their level of access. The similar way here also. Project is designed only for few set of people. It doesn't mean that only 10 people or 20 people or 30 people will access it. If TCS is having a 10,000 employees sitting in that block A, that block is capable of 10,000 people, then it can access all the 10,000 people. The block A can be accessed by all the 10,000 people. The ultimate point here is project is not a restricted entity. So it was designed in such a way that it will be applicable only for few set of people itself, but still it's a software application. Whereas a product, it was a design for everyone. Example of a product is Gmail, which we are using, Yahoo Mail, which we are using, WhatsApp Messenger, which we are using. There is no restriction at all, basically. Whether I'm working for TCS, whether I'm working for IBM, everyone can access it. Consider that the block C is a shopping mall. It's open for everyone, right? Whether you are working for TCS, whether you are working for IBM, no matter, it doesn't consider basically. Whether you are working for either of these things, your block C is open for everyone. So this is, we call it as a product. Got it, guys? Product. If a software application is designed for multiple customers. Project, if a software application is designed for very few customers. So the objective is both are software applications itself, but the way people are using will differ. That's it. Any questions for me, guys? Deepa, Satyendra, and Virat.
No. No.
No,
We
sir.
got it.
No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Okay. Good. Done the deal. And then the next point that we need to consider here is, okay, once after we had done up to this particular point, so this is what a software application. Why we need to know these definitions? Immediately a quick question will rise in our mind, buddy, why are you explaining this software testing or software application and all these definitions at this point? As said that Manual testing is a process oriented, and when you join any organization, they will ask you, are you done with the project deliverables or not? You should know what is a project, right? If you know this the definition, then whatever the terminologies they are using, you can easily understand that. Okay, you can easily understand that. So project means a software application, set of a computer programs, and a minimum data to work on it. We call it as a software application. And majority of the organizations in the real world will build a products itself. So it means they will target for almost everyone. They don't have any restricted entities. Yes. And once we are done up to here, the next point is a small example that I want to start with. So the example here is, assume that I want to construct a house. I want to construct a house. Okay. I just got a thought on 30/10/2021 at 9 a.m. IST. Will it be possible for me to complete my construction by 10 a.m. IST on the same day? No, right? It's not at all possible for me to complete my house construction within an hour or so, right? It needs a lot of activities involved. So what are all the activities involved in construction? So if you say the first one that we need to consider here is, okay, the first one that we need to consider here is choose a land and then purchase a land. And once after choosing a land and once after purchasing a land, then, okay, once you are done with these two activities, choose civil engineer. And once you are done with this civil engineer, then, sorry, before choosing the civil engineer, get a plan, get approval for it. Okay, then choose a civil engineer and give contract to him. And next, choose an interior designer, give contract to him. Okay, finally, housewarming. Right? On a high level, these are the 9 different steps which we have in order to complete a construction of a house. Any questions on this, guys?
No.
Good. So the ultimate point out over there is, if you want to complete a house construction, you need to do these things. Okay, for us, it's not so easy basically to complete any task. Okay, so whatever the things you are dealing with, it's not possible for us to complete anything. Assume that I want to purchase a car, and even it's not possible for me to get my car within an hour, though I'm ready to pay my money, ready to pay the full payment for that car, but I don't get the car in an hour or so. Based on the availability, based on the stock, it may take some time, right? Though we are ready to invest, sometimes it will take a more time to deliver, depending on a model and depending on a type, whatever we are choosing. The similar way here also, software application is a word. Okay, it is a process basically, and even it's not possible for any organization to complete their application development overnight. There are some series of activities which needs to be conducted, and upon completion of all these activities itself, a software application will be developed. So for us, in order to construct a house, if you see in detail, these many activities are there. The similar way, if you see in order to develop a software application also, there are a series of activities involved. So what are all the activities involved we have inside this developing a software application? We call it as an SDLC, which is a software development life cycle. SDLC. In order to develop a particular software, what are all the various stages involved? We call it as an SDLC, which is a software development life cycle, guys. Okay, perfect. So what are we going to do as part of these SDLC in any real world? So the SDLC is having various stages. So if at all you want to develop any application, that application should fall to should pass all these stages. So the first stage out over there is okay, the first stage out over there for this SDLC is basically gathering of requirements, planning, design, development, testing, delivery, and a maintenance. Okay, gathering of requirements, the planning, design, development, testing, delivery, and a maintenance. These are all the various stages which we have in order to develop any particular software, guys. If you want to develop anything, it should follow all these stages. Okay, it should follow all these stages. Okay, let's see more details about this individual chunk. Okay, so let us start with gathering of requirements. The name itself will tell you gathering of a requirements. So how this process is going to happen. Let me give you a simple example so that you can understand that. Okay, so assume that I want to design a wear dress for my marriage. Just an example. And I went to Manyavar. Okay, so whenever I approach this store, what it will happen, one person from the store will interact with me. Maybe, one person, a salesperson will interact with me and he will try to understand what exactly my needs are. Based on that, he will suggest designs for me. Right, this is what the process is going to happen. Whenever you approach any store, the salesperson will approach you and that salesperson will give you a more details about the product. First of all, before that, he will gather all your needs. What is your budget? What are all the things you are looking for? All these details, he will gather a complete information from you, and based on your interest, he will show the various products whatever they have. Right. The same way here, the gathering of a requirements will be done from one company side, one organization side. What will this do? For suppose here Sachendra is there and Satyendra wants to build a website. Okay, Satyendra wants to build a website and maybe, a training portal. Satyendra wants to build a training portal. Okay, this is what his need is, Satyen. Okay, so he approached Surendra. Surendra is a freelancer who will build websites. Okay, Surendra is a freelancer who builds various websites. So Sachendra approached Surendra that, buddy, I'm looking for a website for my training company. I just wanted these many courses. Then immediately what Surendra will do, he will understand all his needs and then he will give a quotation. If Sachendra accepted for his quotation, then the further stages will fall, which is Surendra will gather the requirements. Right. See, the simple thing is, for suppose this guy is in a dilemma whether to give this project to Surendra or not. Without having any clarity, for suppose if he approached Surendra and Surendra gathered the requirements and if he started working and after 1 week, this guy is not responding, then what it will happen? It's not going to be a value. The effort, whatever Surendra and his team kept was went into a vain. Right. That's the reason there should be an official confirmation before proceeding with all the SDLC activities. Once after we have a confirmation from that particular customer, then officially we will start with the SDLC activities, which is a gathering of requirements. So from the company side, one person will interact with the customer and gather all the business needs from the customer. So what is your business need, what you are trying to achieve, what exactly you want, how you want to look your website, do you have anything in your mind, do you have any reference websites, all these details, all these details Sachendra or the customer, one person from our organization will interact and will get all the details. Any questions for me on this so far, guys? The point here is, okay, so in the gathering of requirements, one person from our organization will go and interact with the customer first. He will gather what are all the customer needs, and he will list down all the customer needs, which officially we are calling that particular phase as an gathering of requirements. In the gathering of requirements, one person from our organization, usually we call that particular person as a business analyst, will interact with the customer and will gather all the customer needs. So gathering, he will list down in a document, and that document we call it as an business requirement specifications or a software requirement specification or a requirements document. That's what we call it as. Any questions on this particular first phase, which is a gathering of requirements, everyone?
No.
Yes. And we have gathered the requirements from the customer, and we are good. What exactly we know, basically what exactly customer is looking from our organization side. Okay, so once we have all the needs, then we need to prepare a plan. So if you have a plan, and then only you can, follow that plan to accomplish your task in an effective way. See, the two things are here. Let me come up with a small example so that you can understand in a more easier way. So basically, so assume that Satya and Ramya are friends, and both have a December, office shutdown time. Okay, shutdown time is there for them. So complete December month is time off. Okay, it's a paid off for them. So they were planning for a vacation. What Satya has done in the month of October itself, as he know basically December is a complete time off, he has listed down what are all the places he needs to visit, how exactly he need to book the accommodation, what is the travel, and he almost booked everything for his vacation in this October month itself. And Ramya also wants to go to the same place, but she didn't prepare any chunk out over there. Like nothing is there with her. So at the end, as it is a festival time off or errand time off, so it will be difficult for this girl to complete her vacation. And even she didn't get even a single flight ticket, and she didn't went to a vacation also. But as he has a planned effectively his trip, whatever he planned for, he completed all the places visit. Okay, so the only difference between Satya and Ramya, if you clearly observe here, whoever is having a proper plan and a vision, they can complete their task in an effective way. The same thing applies here also. If we want to build a software application, it's not going to happen overnight. So there should be a lot of activities happening, and there should be a thorough handover between one stage to another stage, followed by a detailed planning. Followed by a detailed planning should happen. Okay, so if this is the case, then only we can achieve that particular activity. That's the reason, as part of this planning phase, we will be preparing a detailed plan and approach for the complete application under test. Whatever the things you want to test, how exactly you want to test, how you need to deal with this activity, everything we will prepare a detailed plan. Who are all the resources going to work on a project? What are all the technologies we are going to work on a project? Everything we will prepare a detailed plan in this particular phase. Okay, is this planning clear for you all? What we will be doing? So, what are all the technologies we are going to use? Who are the workers? Who are all the team is going to work on a project? Who are all the developers? Who are all the testers going to work? Everything we will discuss as part of this particular planning phase itself. Okay, a detailed and a high level plan will be prepared for testing the entire application. Got it, everyone? Any questions?
Yeah, I got it.
Good. Done the deal. So one thing